Okay, so we're up to our class on marriage number 7.
How many classes are there?
6.
At least
Oh no, in total. No, how many in total?
Yeah.
I don't know.
500.
We'll see until everybody's married.
Oh my god.
You never, even when you are married, you need classes to get ready to get more married.
Oh, not that
Meaning-
No,
God forbid.
I was out in Ufra on Shabbos, so married. So after Shabbos, the guy that's getting married asked one of the guys that's getting married. He's like, you get married, you should like go to like every couple of months you should go
Right.
to like a marriage counselor.
Yes, you have
But
to
like-
constantly. That's what I do.
Because you don't really
stuff.
know you
Right.
know, but you don't really know, and there are
exactly.
problems that come
You
up.
need to learn about how woman works, and you know,
Yeah.
and how to resolve fights.
Is it
And-
possible to find out how women work?
No,
Yeah, well, I've spoken about it before. You can't really understand it completely. It's
you have to understand the person that you're married
But the
to.
main thing is to, when I say the main thing of the guy has to learn to feel what the woman feels, and he has to learn to be sensitive. He has to learn to listen, and he has to learn to seduce his spouse
Maybe.
all the time on a regular basis, because all those things are the things that create the bond. Again, like I said many times, what does the man want? The man wants more respect and honor. That's what usually he wants. That's how he feels love. The woman wants to be desired
Or
and
love.
chosen and feel love, and she wants to be noticed. So that's very important. That's the main things to focus on. But let's go a bit into different things about marriage. First of all, as you know, there's this thing called nida, right? In a marriage, there's the concept of nida, where when the woman has her periods, it's a time where there's a kind of temporary separation. Temporary separation
Like
doesn't
half the
make
month.
it doesn't
Isn't
make
half the
no,
month?
it's 12 days.
12 days.
12 to 2 weeks.
That's
12.
about half the month.
So what does that mean?
Almost.
What does that mean? Separation.
So meaning it's a temporary separation, but not the real separation. Meaning it's a temporary guy. So otherwise it doesn't work well for the audio. The separation has to.
Because she's not pure no more for those days.
No, you are not pure.
Yeah, right.
It's not people. It's a mistake. People think of the woman is not pure. It has nothing to do with pure and impure. I mean, it has to do in the sense that she lost potential, and therefore, there's blood and all that. But it's not. You're not separating just because she's impure. You're separating because it's now an opportunity to work on getting close to each other, but on a level that is not physical. It's a preparation. It's interesting that there's a whole story about, not a whole story, the way the Kabbalists explain how the way to explain how do you explain that, why did we have 7 weeks before Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah, right?
Like
What?
marriage.
To prepare for Matan Torah. What's Matan Torah? The giving of the Torah. What is it represented like?
Marriage.
Marriage. It was the chuppah. Matan Torah was, careful not to move the table because it moves the video too. So the Matan Torah, Har Sinai, was like the chuppah. It was the wedding, and then the wedding with God. That's why, according to Halacha, ideally we should not be together with one spouse on Shavuot night, because you're with Hashem. That's your intimacy with Hashem through the Torah. But the 7 weeks before the Torah, which correspond to the 7 days, what the Zohar says, it's like the 7 days when the woman, has those 7 pure days when she doesn't see any blood. And what are those 7 days for? Is to be purified of your inner character traits. And that's why we have 49 days, or 7 weeks, where we work on Sfirat HaOmer. You're supposed to work on your character trait. That's why if you look in Kabbalah or in the Siddur, it says every day is correspond to one Sfira. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut. Right? So every day. The first week is all the aspect of chesed. So chesed shebechesed, chesed shebechesed, tiferet shebechesed. Thank you very much. And we have to work on this. So what does that mean about the time when the woman is nida? It's a time where you're now together working
On other stuff.
on other stuff, meaning
when
on your
in nida, you're okay.
right. When she's during that time, so the time where you prepare yourself to achieve a higher level, which is like a level where you bond yourself up on a higher level. You prepare yourself. You're ready for each other. You're more pure. You have worked on your character traits. You have tried to fix things, and then you're together. That's why actually it says after when the woman goes to the mikvah, it's like the first day of first day after. As it feels like it was the first day of the wedding, that night.
But don't they do it before a wedding?
What? Yeah. Only one time. Only the
Day
night
off.
before the wedding.
The
Usually.
day off, right?
What?
They go the day off or the night off?
The night before.
I thought for the wedding they go the day off
No, don't.
to show that they're getting married.
Night before. Usually always the night
Why is
before.
it 12 days if the woman's
Because-
thing is only for 7 days?
Well, that's a longer discussion. It's 3, 5, and 7 days, right? 5 days of 5 days. 5 days
So
correspond.
the 7th day I think start as soon as she doesn't see blood, right?
Yeah, but we have a standard thing of calculating that Chazal instituted. I mean, actually, the women instituted that for themselves. There should be 5 days and 7 days. But, well, that's when you get married, you go in depth on how it works. But just to understand that concept of that
And
when
it's
this.
more simple. It's more complicated than just blood. It doesn't depend. It doesn't also depend on the color or something. Sometimes.
Yeah, when you get married, you'll learn about it. It's not relevant to our discussion. So, let's discuss a bit about the ketubah. Guys, you got to know what you're going to sign in.
What?
When you get married, you're going to sign a paper, right? And you got to know what's
To
in
the
that paper.
contract
400 donkeys
for your whole soul.
Isn't that
It's 400 donkeys.
Guys, it's not a discussion
Guys,
here. It's a
guys.
class. Otherwise, it's a recording. If you want, after you can ask questions and discuss for hours. But right now, let's stay focused. So, the ketubah is a marriage contract. It originally was made so that the marriage doesn't, they don't get divorced like easily. Originally, if you don't have a ketubah, then you can say okay, bye, and then the wife, that's it. So in order to protect the wife from being in that situation, we do the ketubah, and it's make the husband more aware of his responsibility and take it more seriously. Also, in the past, women were much more dependent on the man than today, and therefore it was easier for the guy to just let it go and feel that she's depending on me. Today, the man and the woman, they all work, they're all independent, and most women say, yeah, I don't need that man.
I don't need him.
What's the
I can be.
difference?
I can do that.
What's the difference between the kasuva and the halachic prenup? Is there a big
Oh
difference?
no, yeah, so it's not. Yeah, it's
There is no
different.
halachic prenup.
No, this prenuptial agreement, which is something made in order to protect even more both parties from
Protects both parties or protects the woman?
both parties. I mean, usually it's always to protect the woman, but it protects both parties from abuse or money problems and all that.
I heard the YU Russian rabbis won't marry somebody without one.
Yeah, my Rebbe also would do that. Yeah, because you hear so many stories about crazy cases and one steals from the other. But the idea of the ketubah is this. So let's see what it says. The ketubah is a fixed amount that a man is obligated to pay his wife if the marriage should come to an end. The ketubah has nothing to do with child support in case of divorce and is regardless of whether the ex-wife remarries. If she is nursing a baby, he is obligated to pay her as a wet nurse. He must also pay the children's medical bills. A wife does not inherit her husband if he dies. His money goes to his children, but she is entitled to receive her ketubah payment before the heirs receive their inheritance.
Which is how much?
200 zuz?
Yeah, but You know, usually it's between 5,000 and 25,000, depending on the
Well, what's written in the Kesuva now?
200 zuzim.
It's 50,000, no?
200 silver zuz, usually.
What does that mean?
And a bunch of
It's
donkeys.
it's right. No, it's a measurement. It's a not a measurement. A value, whatever. You have to translate it into 2 days. You know, the price of the silver today. But basically, it's to allow the wife to not be, in the street without money. So the poskim are divided as to whether or not the husband's obligation to sign the ketubah document upon getting married is a Torah commandment or only rabbinical. Our sages made a chatan take an oath under the chuppah to ensure that he fulfilled his duties. So this is what the ketubah states. And I proclaim, with the help of the Almighty, that I will work, honor, feed, sustain, upkeep, respect, and clothe you in accordance with the law of Jewish men who work, honor, feed, sustain, upkeep, respect, and clothe their wives in honesty. And I will grant you the dowry stipulated for a woman of the sum of 200 zuz that is fitting for you. And I am hereby obligated towards your sustenance, clothing, needs, and relations. Right, those are the three things that the man has to do according to the Torah to show her love physically, right?
Feed her and clothe her.
Well, feed her and clothe her. Those are three things that a woman needs in terms to feel loved and to feel protected and respected. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you different things. So this we actually spoke. Oh, I think we have spoken about that part already. Okay, so I want to go a bit into
Further.
But you don't have to feed and clothe them with expensive stuff.
No,
It's just
at the minimum.
simple. At the minimum.
At the minimum, it's one
Like
share.
at the minimum.
Well, more than you.
More
More than yourself.
Average.
No, not average, minimum.
more than yourself.
More than yourself. Okay.
Yeah, you have to love your wife as yourself, but you have to honor her and clothe her more than yourself. Her and her children, because the children and the wife depends on the husband, so to speak. For this,
No set amount.
what?
Just how much? There's probably no set amount.
There's no amount. It depends on where you live. What's the average life? Like we read one time that if everybody has a dishwasher, then you have obligation to pay for a dishwasher for your wife.
Mm-hmm.
If whatever is common to have in the area. But if a woman feels she doesn't have that, she feels not loved. She's like more poor than other women. Therefore, it's important to choose where you want to live. Don't go live in a 5-star area. Otherwise,
Unless you can afford it.
What?
Unless you can afford it.
Yeah, I guess you can afford it. You know.
I have a question.
Yes.
So let's say you want to live in a nice area. Do you still have to upkeep towards the community, or what is normal?
Well, it depends. If your wife complains, then you have to. it really depends on how she feels. But she has to feel valued. Meaning, if her friends come to her home, she shouldn't feel humiliated or lowered. So it's important that there's a balance. And
I have a question. Is there such thing as a woman taking advantage of a man in Judaism, or is that not relevant for us?
it can happen. I mean, it is called abuse on both sides. It's abuse. Man, it's more rare. It's more.
No,
rare.
let's say she always like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want like everything.
Right. So, yeah.
You have to.
That,
It might be fit-
you don't know. You don't have to say yes to everything. Right. A wife also has her part to do. She has to learn to be reasonable, but she's allowed to ask for things, to feel respected and loved and appreciated and beautiful.
Remember, it's a marriage. It's not one-sided.
Right. It's a marriage. It's a relationship. Right. It's not a competition. As soon as your marriage becomes a competition,
sacred bond.
is right. It's dangerous.
Yeah, right.
I want to speak about one issue. When you get married, we discuss it sometime in the Chatan. I mean, in the Chatan class we always discuss that. But about when to have children. When should we have children? So.
As soon as you get married.
No, 2 years.
Not that soon. No, what does? The question is, what does God want? It's not usually, if you don't have children yet, and
So when is the right time?
if you let me talk, I'll be able to tell you.
Okay.
So it's like that. First of all, every generation is different, and there's no one clear-cut halacha for that, right? That's something you discuss directly with your rabbi, because it has to be your specific situation. But let's speak in general, right? I'm speaking in general, and the halacha you'll decide together with your rabbi. And one should consult a rabbi to know if one choosing the right thing. What?
Why do you have to decide al-halacha?
Everything is halacha. The way you talk is halacha. The way you look at the world is halacha. The way you breathe is halacha. Halacha means the way we live in this world in order to live with God. If you want to live with God, there's halacha in everything. This is an halacha how to tie your shoes. How crazy is that? Right?
Put on your right shoe, put on your left shoe.
Right.
Tie your left shoe, tie your right shoe.
So we have
Oh my God.
God wants us.
Now you know it.
God wants us to learn to live in a way that is harmony with the spiritual and the physical, and therefore halacha discuss. There's not one thing that is not discussed in halacha. It teaches you even how to go to the bathroom, how to wipe yourself. Right? Why? Because this is also Torah. Torah means instruction. Instruction for what? For halacha, for the way to walk in life. So there's not one thing that the Torah doesn't tackle. And it doesn't mean everybody does the same, but it means that if you're looking for an answer on how to do the right thing, it'll be discussed in the Torah. Maybe not directly. You have to take from the lessons from the Torah and then apply it to your life. That's what rabbis are for. And then you'll be able to.
Don't worry, we'll call you.
What?
We'll call you.
Sure. Send me a text. You have more chance to answer. Anyway, so what happens is that it always depends on the situation of the couple. But the most important subject to discuss is the danger of a couple having a child right away, if they're very young. Why? But number one, today in America, people get a lot of people get divorced.
What's considered really young?
Like 20, 21, 22. I mean, the wife 18, 19, 20, 21, right? That's young. Once the wife starts to be 25, I don't think you should wait. But again, every situation is different. I'm speaking general now. It's no psak. But
and I'm sure if you ask different people, they'll give you different answers.
Yes, you have different opinions. Obviously, having children is an obligation from the Torah, and you should have it as soon as possible. But you have to be smart about it. If people get divorced and they have one child, then that's not good. So what do you have to do? One of the important thing is usually for couples nowadays to have a 2-year solid marriage foundation. There's one of around 2 years. When you have a 2-year marriage, what happens when the wife gets pregnant right away? She doesn't have time to be a wife. We think that we're married and we have a baby. Okay, no, you understand. You're getting married and you're not married anymore. You're parents, right? As soon as she's pregnant, you become parents. And when you're parents, you're not acting as husband and wife. First of all, you have the hormones of the pregnant woman, which is
I want this. Don't give me this.
This is a whole different way to look at things, to deal with them. I had a friend. Each time she was pregnant, and they have 6-7 children now, at least. Each time she was pregnant, she wants to get divorced. She hated him. Whatever he does, I hate you. Whatever, because her hormones couldn't stand him, right? But he was patient, and then he understood. She's pregnant, right? You have to let it go. So
oh my gosh.
You have to be aware of that when you're parents, you work as a father, you work as a mother, you're busy, and then you don't have time to travel. That's why I tell couples when they get married, when they're young, do things together. The more you do things together, having fun together, do things together, spend time alone together. As soon as you have the baby,
it's over.
No sleep at night, no No, right? It's hard to be alone. Going on vacation, going out at night, it rarely happens.
You need babysitter.
Babysitter, right?
Find a babysitter,
And it's
or
for
you have to
years,
bring the
years and
kid.
years. It's for years, right? 10 years of diapers. I mean, like, because if you have more than one, right? Not 10 years for the same child, hopefully. But it's work. It's a very hard work. It's a different avoda. It's a different role.
Different level.
Right. So, and what happened? That's why very often what you see, couples who get married, and they never really get to love each other. Very quickly they have children, and then when all the children are married, they get divorced. They stay together for the same children because they worked as parents, but they weren't stayed husband and wife. So the only way to survive as husband and wife is to, even though they are children, to still go out and still do things together. But it's very hard because there's the kids, and you have to find a babysitter, and then we're tired at work, and then you have to do homework of the kids. Right? It's not easy. It's a really thing. So in order for marriage to be successful and to have a strong bond of love, a strong relationship at the beginning of marriage, the best is to wait, about 2 years in our generation. But
2 years.
If you're young, and you have to check with your rabbi. But that's a general, idea to consider. Not to just think, oh yeah, let's have children right away. It's not that simple. Not that simple. It can break a marriage. So.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I heard that if you don't get pregnant for a while, that you're gonna have a problem getting pregnant after a while.
I usually let those things to God. Like, he usually is pretty good at deciding who gets pregnant or not. Yeah, there's medicine, there's a doctor, but you live a life with God. God will make sure you get pregnant. Avram, 99 years old, no
But they
problem.
didn't have those pills
He
and
didn't
stuff
get
like that
pregnant.
back in the day.
And exactly, there was
So
no
it was
doctor
faster.
to help. But he was 100 years old, and Sarah was 100 years old. There
What
was
is she, 90?
3 times past the menopause.
Something like that.
She couldn't, right? It even said that they didn't have the organ. The organ was defective. And why still have children? So we have to understand it is.
No, still there.
Your beard is growing. So we have to understand that it's there's contraception can sometimes affect the woman, but there are women who took contraception for years and had children after, and a woman who who never took contraception and they can have kids, right? So we have to. God knows what He's doing. If you need a child, God is going to give it to you. And there's reasons where sometimes God waits for people to have children. Or you have people who they use the pills and all that, or not the contraception, like to have children, try to have children, and nothing happens. And all of a sudden they have twins and then triple, right? So
Oh my God.
yeah, it's hard work. But God is in charge. So yes, you don't want to be a fool. You don't want to not listen to the doctors. Yeah. But in the same time, you have to rely that Hashem Rofech Olam Yisrael, God
2
is
years
the.
is a long time.
It's not such a long time. 10 years, a long time. 2 years. Again, I'm saying average. After you discuss with your rabbi, what's the right thing? Say at least don't be pregnant the first year. So that way, if you have a child right away, you become pregnant. That's it. You won't be the same. You think you're the same in your mind, but your husband won't feel you as the same because you'll be an hormone different. I mean, not every woman becomes crazy like that, but we have to be aware of that. Like that's it. You don't have time to be married. Just at least a year of marriage, and going to classes together or having fun, doing things together is very important. Also, being aware when you get married that everything you learn about marriage, I think when you get married, is all about your relationship with God. Again, the way you handle your marriage, that's the secret. It's the biggest secret in the world. The way you handle your marriage the way you handle your wife, the way you handle your husband is the way you will handle God. If you don't work on your marriage, you're not really working on your relationship with God. Or you might think you are, but it's not. Remember why we say at the very first class, why did God create it? It's not good for men to be alone. Create the woman, why? To remind him that there's a relationship, that men should not be alone on earth, meaning should have a relationship with God. So the reason we get married is, so unless you work on your marriage, you will not work on your Avodas Hashem, usually. Or it will be really superficial. Okay, those are the things. And I want to give one idea about the concept of nida, because it's let's say, what's that thing nida, where there's a separation, a distance? Why is that so important? I want you to hear a concept that I think it changed my whole way of looking at nida. When there are nida, what's happening is that. So I'll show you some of the laws. Some of the laws is you're not supposed to eat from the same plate, right? So food, so the same plate. Another law, for example, you're not supposed to pass something or hold something together.
To, make the bed next to him. Either.
Right, you're not supposed to do the bed next to him while he's there. I'm going to explain. So, and many things like that. You're not supposed to do things together. Why we can't do those things together? Because you do those things together, they might lead to something, right? To something. The question is, what does that mean? What does it mean to something? And also, you can't touch each other, right? So the understanding of that is that the rabbis are hinting to you the intensity that your marriage should really be at. Meaning, technically, you should be so in love with each other that when you eat something from the same plate, you want to jump on each other. Why do you think, food, by the way, in Kabbalah, food is associated with relations? Always. You make love, it's like you consume. Right? Yeah. Consume is the same word for food and for you consume your marriage, right? And that's why also you see sometimes in movies food, where they use food as why in your mouth, right? The cherry in the mouth. Why use that? What's so warm? Because it's something that creates a bond. Eating creates a bond. So they say everything you hold something together. You're just holding. You pass something. When you pass something to your spouse, that should be exciting. It should not feel the same as you pass something to another woman. Another one, yeah, sure, you can pass, no problem. But it should not feel the same when you pass something to your spouse. That's special. That's exciting. That should lead to more. So that after, when you're not when she's not done, then and you pass something, then now, it feels special. Otherwise, I pass you to any other woman. What's the difference? So we have to be aware of that power. The intensity of your marriage is going to depend on how much you're aware of that.
It's going to increase.
Right. You have to always increase it. So the one we had the Emet couples retreat there in the Shabbaton. I gave a class, and my class was all about that. Understanding that our marriage should not just be a nice marriage. Hi, darling. Oh, it should be passion. We have. It's almost like passion. The word passion disappeared from Judaism. Obviously, you don't want to make it public. You want a private passion, a secret passion. But passion. Why don't we run home from work to see our spouse, right? Or we should be running home excited. Instead, it's like, oh boy, I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna have to talk to my spouse, and I'm gonna have to listen to her, and
she's gonna talk forever.
And then you have to deal with the kids. No, you created for that. That's your mission in life. Your mission is to be one with your spouse, is to achieve unity, is to become a real man, a real woman. So we should really be excited. And that's why the rabbi says you should dress up better and for the woman to put makeup when your husband come home, not when you go out at night. You should. That's for you. Your beauty is for your husband, right? I mean, you have to be beautiful for others, but you don't want to. The main beauty when you dress like the most pretty and be the most how you say
Glamorous.
what? How you say it? Glamorous should be when your husband come home, when you go out with your husband, not when we're going with friends. Now it's my time to show. Oh, so yeah, if you're dating, you make yourself beautiful, but not too much because after he's gonna choose you for the beauty. But
oh my god.
Right, terrible. he should also be attractive. Of course, it's obligation to be attractive, but understanding that your marriage should be intense, and only people who constantly work on the marriage and aware of that and use Nida as a time to learn more about the other and want the other more and work on yourself so that the next time we're together it's even stronger, right? If before and after the Nida time is the same,
but
then you didn't use Nida the right way. What?
How would you know when it's that time?
She'll tell
The time of Nida? Yeah, she tells you. Say, don't touch me.
Get away.
How do you know
Where
the
is
difference
yours?
between passion and just like being used to each other? Type of thing?
Sorry, say again?
How do you know the difference? And like while you're married, the difference between being like having passion for somebody or just being used to somebody and like basically like missing them because you can't touch them, but at the same time it's not like real passion. It's like just
Right. Okay. But you use those things. You have to be smart. You have to be creative in a marriage. You have to, like we spoke last time about language of love, know what the other loves, what makes the other tick, right? You learn to seduce the other, and you have to, right? You have to learn. You have to have a PhD on your spouse, on a PhD or an essay about this is how my spouse works, right? And that's really the key to become better at it and be creative. You have to find ideas.
When you talk to her, you get to know her.
Right, and you need to know. You need to have. Some women love surprises. Some hate surprises. Right? Say happy birthday. Oh, okay.
She's like, why is you doing this for me?
So it's very important to really learn and based on how you understand the other, that's how you're gonna learn how to have more passion, because the more you go towards the inclination of the other, right? She loves to go out on dinner, and you're gonna find this type of dinner place and this type of dinner place. Oh, he brought me there. Oh, he brought me there. Right? Well, and then you build, and it's the renewal, and it's different. That's the hard part, because the routine breaks the marriage. Routine is very dangerous. It's what we have to strive for. And this is what? The routine, the habit of being married, of the everyday life. And so you if you always go to the same restaurant and order the same thing and sit at the same place and at the same time, it's like it's a deja vu.
Is a mother allowed to touch her child if she's in Nida? It's like the child's like 15, 20 years old.
Yeah, the woman can touch anything. Except Nida. There's no problem.
Because it's
except the husband.
The whole impurity thing, so it's just her and her husband.
Because it's Tumas Mace, or just because I'm just...
No, because it's not affected. You don't.
It was at a certain point.
Yeah, but it's not.
So you're saying nowadays
now
doesn't take effect.
Oh, right. Yeah, today anyway.
Because
Everybody is Tumas Mace anyway.
So that's why the Tum of Nida doesn't.
Yeah, but she would be able to touch the child.
Would be.
Yeah, there's no other.
What about Caleb?
Killing, so after it depends on the killing. It depends.
Like she allowed to, let's say she made dinner this night, like she's like touching the Caleb, like the polish.
No, this is fine. It's only for if you I don't even remember all the laws of what, but it's not.
I heard a story. I forgot which, like somebody mentioned in Yeshua, like Yeshua. Like,
always comes around
a certain lady like sat in a certain Rav's chair and like she was Nida. He took the chair and like threw it into the ocean.
Yeah, okay.
Purified.
I don't think it's literal, but
for some people he's like a mikubal though.
Right, exactly. Again, we are today, unless you're a mikubal and you live on that level. Today, guys are much more impure than girls.
So it's okay.
Yeah. No, there's no problem. Also, a misconception that women cannot touch the Torah. The Torah doesn't get any tuma.
Really?
The Torah cannot be tamei.
I didn't
Really?
know that.
Yeah.
I always thought that women aren't allowed to if they're in
I heard
the Torah is not subject to tuma.
I heard that it might be
Torah.
worse for a man to hold it to carry it than a woman sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a lot of things. Well, I don't want to do it into a this is like kind of tangent, but that's a different subject. But let's understand this is the same thing in our relationship with God. Unless you make Judaism exciting and learn to be creative and learn to seduce God, so to speak, meaning you have a relation with God, you have to learn to please God, and you have to do it your own way. If you just put tefillin every day, and you do the same tefillin, or you put candles and candles and candles and candles, and nothing's changed, always the same, then it's just like a husband and wife who are not, it's the routine, the habit of everyday life. It's not special. It loses its preciousness. That's why every commandment in if about Shem Tov and Hasidus and Kabbalah and all the Sephardic rabbi also speaks about that you need to do the commandments with emotions. If no emotions, it's your mitzvot are dead. Mitzvot are heavy. So
cooking without a fire.
Right. So you have to have that fire in Judaism, that love, and those are two emotions that are expressed in doing the mitzvah. Two requirements. The Ramchal says that you need love and awe, which is respect for what you're doing. Love and right. So that's the same thing with the spouse. You need love and awe, love and respect, love and appreciation for the greatness of the other. So it's all you all learn one thing from the other. So I want to read you one thing so you understand that I didn't invent that concept. Sefer Hasidim. Sefer Hasidim says like that. It speaks about the love of God. Our Creator commanded us to serve Him with love. Love God, your God, with all your heart, so that He loves you. So that the love of your soul be bound up with Him in joy, in love, and with gladness. So he says like that. The joyous feeling of this love is passionate and utterly overpowering. In fact, a man who has not been with his wife for many days and has a great desire for her does not find the moment that he's physically intimate with her as exhilarating as intensity and power of loving God and finding joy in the Creator. Do you understand the intensity? And all the pleasure of playing with one's children are like nothing compared to the spiritual joy of the man who loves God with all his heart and soul and might, which means with all his thoughts. His love of the Creator must be so great and overwhelming that he becomes lovesick, like a person who is starved for the affection of a spouse and is consumed with love when he sits, rises, goes and comes, and when he eats and drinks. His love even robs him from his sleep. The love of the Creator should be far more ardent than this. Speaking of this love, King Solomon says, I am faint with love from Shashim. Do you understand the intensity that we're supposed to serve God? We'll be crazy, like, God, I love you, God. I want to pray to you. I want to do something. I want to put on feeling that, right? How many times do we do that? How many one of us, I'm speaking to myself, how many times do I run to shul because I'm excited to pray to God? Why? Because we don't make our relation with God real. We don't learn to fall in love with God. We have to fall in love with God. You have to make love happen. The same thing, when you're with your wife, you have to make love happen. Because otherwise the love falls. It's the routine of every day. Yeah, the beginning or like when you become religious or whatever, it's exciting. Then you do it again and again. So you have to find ways, meaning or refresh, renew, so that it becomes exciting. And each one has his own way to do it. But you have to create it. You have to find out the best way to do it. By the way, that's in marriage. How do you feel more love from the other? By looking at the other as a source of pleasure. So whatever pleasure I get from my wife when she cooks, and I'm aware of that, she loves me, and then today she cooked something for me. Today she prepared my socks, or it can be simple things. Today she washed my clothes, or today she took care of the kids, or today she made the beautiful home. Each that I see, wow, another source of pleasure. Wow, and you get that pleasure and that. Wow, she loves me so much, and I feel loved. Then with Hashem, the same thing. During the day, say you eat some good kosher Chinese food, like, oh, God, you really loves me. Wow, it tastes so good. And then, right, and then it's cold outside, and you put your Ugg shoes or your I don't know, your hat, furry hat, and you feel the pressure. Say, oh God, thank you for creating those warm stuff. It feels so good. And then you go in the jacuzzi, right?
What?
Or in the hot shower, and you feel the pleasure of the water washing you and the hot. It's like, oh God, you love me. Like you created such a beautiful world. All the pleasure you're getting is God giving those pleasures. Or when you have your parents or your best friend giving you a hug, this is God giving you. It's God giving you pleasure. It's God hugging you, right? The feeling of love you feel from your parents or from your spouse, that's God loving you. So but because we're not aware, we don't translate that. Then we lose it. We forget, and it's finished. So all those things have to be learned so that we can use it in order to serve God and love God more and be passionate. And it's the same thing in our relationship. The greatest tool is to be constantly aware of everything that the other does for you. If you're constantly aware of what your spouse does for you, it's a good thing to do when you're dating. Notice everything. Test yourself. See how many things you can notice of attention or little things that the other does when you're dating. Like attention. Oh, today you changed your lipstick. It's beautiful. Oh, you put this perfume. Oh, you made your hair like that. Oh, you bought this flower for me. Oh, you drove me back to my house. Oh, you opened the door.
You cooked this food.
Oh, you cooked this food. Oh, you did this. Right? All those things. You have to notice. The more you notice and you're aware of that, the more you create the bond of love. And you look at the other as a source of pleasure. And that's what's going to make you fall more in love, because you're going to feel that and you want to reciprocate and you have gratitude, and you'll really, really fall in love or rise in love. Yeah.